and welcome to our roundtable, Powering Sustainable Business. For business to remain competitive and to meet ESG goals and policy, they must become sustainable. Now, this is already something that most companies and governments are on board with. So today we're going to explore the opportunities in sustainability and look at the roadmap ahead. Let's begin by speaking to Mr. Wanatabe. Now, we want to talk about how Epson is pioneering transitioning to 100% renewable energy in manufacturing. I'm just wondering, how difficult was that to achieve, particularly when we bear in mind Japan doesn't have a large renewable energy market at all?
The Paris Agreement's decarbonization initiative is recognized as an international imperative that challenges the way companies work. And as of 2017, approximately 70% of Epson's GHG emissions were derived from electricity. We've set ourselves the goal of shifting from our limited fossil fuels to renewable energy. Epson has gone to great lengths to use locally produced energy for local consumption in order to increase renewable energy.
I mean, that is an incredible achievement. And when we look at businesses transitioning to sustainable energy, I'm just wondering what the key is.
As you just mentioned, Japan has a poor penetration rate in terms of renewable energy. We discussed the matter with energy companies, but they did not have a menu for selling renewable energy. The need for renewable energy to achieve a carbon-neutral society led to discussions with energy companies, spanning a period of about 2 years, resulting in successfully creating a sales menu. Epson has proven there's a long-term demand, and the energy companies are comfortable with their investments. This has resulted in our successfully converting all our Japan sites, including manufacturing, to renewable energy in 2021. And in 2023, last year, we converted all Epson sites worldwide to renewable energy. We believe that the key is to expand the development of power sources that are rooted in the local community and to make them cheaper and easier to use.
Now, Epson isn't just decarbonising manufacturing. Tell us about the supply chain.
Epson now has around 1,700 suppliers of components alone for the products it directly incorporates worldwide. Epson has co-created CSR activities, including environmental activities, with its suppliers for many years. Epson is also emphasizing joint efforts with suppliers rather than making unilateral requests to them. We feel that it's necessary for large companies to support SMEs in their activities.
I think it's an excellent approach, helping the suppliers. We have a similar situation at ScienceCo now, and we had in Solvay, we had 40,000 suppliers, same. So how to approach that, let's say, reduction of emission from our suppliers in order to help our own, let's say, overall carbon footprint.
I just wonder what other companies can learn from what Epson have done.
I think other companies could benefit from setting ambitious goals. That's the first step. And we're only going to reach the goals that we have around global climate change if companies set ambitious goals and they work really hard to get there. And in order to achieve those goals, having a strategy, a renewable energy strategy, is the second piece of that.
The biggest thing is actually trying to balance these ambitious goals with making it not too daunting for those suppliers. So actually starting with education, understanding, capability building.
You have this concept of science-based target initiative, right? Which means if you want to respect the 1.5 degrees, let's say maximum global warming, you need also to engage across the value chain. And the example of Epson with the suppliers is a great one.
Some people may be unaware of that typical consumer goods generate a far greater environmental impact than in-house operations.
That's right. The hidden impact in consumer goods is deeper in the supply chain than at the final manufacturer. And so when we're talking about greenhouse gas emissions, there's those scope 1 and 2 emissions that you as a final manufacturer are in charge of. But then when you talk about your supply chain and that 80% that's embedded in the supply chain, that's where things get complex, and that relationship with suppliers is so important, and building that trust and that communication to encourage and support data collection, strategy around greenhouse gas emissions, goal setting, all of those things that need to happen in the supply chain to reduce emissions.
I really think that this scope 3, let's say, question is crucial. Just to illustrate for Syensqo, we emit 2 million tons of carbon for our scope 1, 2, so our own emissions and the energy, but 8 million tons on the value chain, right? So the question of the value chain is much bigger than our own emissions.
Only 25% of the global companies are considering, mitigating their scope 3 carbon emissions and working towards a more sustainable ESG plan. Some of the smaller suppliers, they have no idea what is a scope 1 and a scope 2 emission, and what is that, what's to be identified, and leave alone suppliers down the line who they are sourcing from. So if they can't help themselves, how can they help others?
I think it's very important to have partnerships, to work together with suppliers. Without this, I don't think we'll be able to succeed in either renewable energy or reducing emissions.
This is the right time to act. I think businesses who really want to take leadership and show up as a role model in their sector should be the one who should be straight away moving. It is our responsibility to ensure that the planet and its people are safe. And it's on each and every one of us.
We have only one planet, actually. We don't have the choice. Innovation from technology, but also from the social, from the way we partner, and innovation in the way we want to solve these issues as the key takeaway.
When I think about the one thing that I really see as needed, it's bold leadership. So when we have a lot of companies in the world, and many of them are wading into sustainability, or they're making some goals, or there needs to be bold, disruptive leadership that is willing to go out, especially by the world's leading companies, because they're the ones that really pave the way and set the models for everyone else.
I think the supply chain is more complex than we thought. And I think the major point for the future is how to clarify and control it. I think it will be quickest to create a world where transparency is ensured within a certain set of rules, rather than everyone having to do their own research and build up various databases.
So we need motivation. For motivation, you need agency, and therefore you need to look at the simple, unambiguous commitments that can be made. Even a simple language like decarbonisation is huge. So actually, if we just take the theme of today, if you do Epson commitment to be 100% renewable energy, or even 100% renewable electricity, a very clear commitment that actually people can then get behind and make progress, and it builds that agency that can go forward.
Thank you all so much for your time, for your insights, your experience, your expertise. It's been a really, really interesting discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.